A prisoner has been charged with the murder of a fellow prisoner inside of HMP Whitemoor. Now, I've done a bit digging into this case, people, so I could find out exactly who these two fellas are and what they were in prison for. So I've had a few different articles. I've done quite a bit of research on this to find out exactly who they are. Now, the fella that has been killed isn't a very nice fella, actually, to be honest. John Mansfield was jailed for life in 2007 for the murder in Whalley Range, Manchester, of his 63-year-old neighbour, Alfanso. She had been stabbed around 20 times in the head and neck. What a horrible piece of... He was 44 at the time, and the only motive for the attack on his defenceless 63-year-old neighbour was to pinch some loose change out of her purse, so you can see what type of person he was. Now, ironically, he was 63-year-old at the time of his death inside of HMP Whitemoor at the hands of Nathaniel Reece, or allegedly, because he's just been charged now. But I can bet you anybody there's CCTV footage of what has happened here, or footage of him going into the cell, because this actually happened on the CSC, which is the unit inside of HMP Whitemoor. Now, the CSC stands for Close Supervision Centre. Exactly as you can imagine, close supervision. These are highly supervised prisoners who are normally down there for attacking other prisoners, a bit like Robert Maudsley. That's where he is at now. He's on the CSC, and attacking screws. When these individuals are hard to manage inside a prison, there's nowhere else to put them apart from on the close supervision centres. And normally they're on there for a considerable amount of time. So John Mansfield, 63-year-old, this actually happened on April the 13th of this year, 2025. And he was arrested for the murder. Nathaniel Reece obviously questioned, but for whatever reason, it's took from April up until now for him to be charged. Whether there's been a backlog or whether they've just put this on the back burner thinking it's not something that needs to be rushed, I don't know. But I'm just bringing you the facts about this. Now, I will quickly tell you who Nathaniel Reece is. So Nathaniel Reece is from Islington in London. He is doing life with a minimum, so 2 seconds, where was it at? He's doing life with a minimum of 30 years after he was found guilty of being the shooter, when it did say a group of men have been jailed for fatally shooting a young man in broad daylight near children's playground in revenge for a robbery they mistakenly thought he had committed. So, according to this, Imani Allaway Muir, 22, was innocent, and he was shot dead by this group of men. And Nathaniel Reece will serve, sorry, I said 30, it's 33 years and 2 months. I don't know where they get the 2 months from. If it's a 33 year, you might as well say a 33 plus 2 months. So he's got to serve a minimum of 33 years. He's obviously ended up in Whitemoor prison. And for whatever reason, he's ended up on the CSC, whether he's been attacking prisoners, screws, whatever, or whether his head's gone, who knows. But that's as much as I know about him. Life with a minimum of 33 years and 2 months, we'll not forget that. And he's took the life of John Mansfield. I don't know the exact reason. There was a couple of inboxes about this, giving us a bit info, but I don't know the exact, so I'm not going to say something that I don't know is 100% certain. But I do know he died from head injuries. And like I've said before, ironically, the ages, Nathaniel Reece is 44, the same age John Mansfield was when he murdered his defenceless neighbour. And John Mansfield is the same age as what his defenceless neighbour was when he killed her. So it is quite ironic. but he has died from head injuries, but I can only assume they've smashed his head to pieces off the floor. But again, with it being the CSC, it's cameraed up to bits, cameraed up even more than a normal wing, so they can see what's going on to monitor them properly. And normally on the CSC, they don't all get let out together. Depending on how many people are down there, some of them, like Robert Maudsley, aren't allowed out with other prisoners. He is now, but back then he wasn't. Some prisoners are that dangerous, and they have done attacks on other inmates, which I will talk about with John Mansfield, because he actually got a second life sentence for attacking a fellow prisoner inside of HMP Full Sutton. So it doesn't say the minimum term that he got for that second life sentence, but it was in Full Sutton in 2007. But even before that, he was up. That was meant to be, it was an attempted murder charge. But he went to trial, got found not guilty. 2 seconds. He was found not guilty at trial, but convicted of wounding with intent. And that was, I'm just trying to have a look, it was 2011. He was also convicted of wounding a fellow prisoner at HMP Manchester with a chair leg. So I'd assume in 2000 in Manchester, it might have been on the unit there as well, because they've obviously got a CATIA unit there. So I'm assuming that's where he was. Then in 2014, that's when he got the second life sentence. And according to sources, he's went up to the fellow prisoner, whoever it was, I don't know who it was, and said, "I have a present for you," before launching the attack. And he began to slash him several times with a broken dinner plate, because back then you had porcelain dinner plates, you get black glass bottles, chili bottles, there was all sorts in the high security prisons that you could use as weapons, which when I was in there myself in 2006 up till 2010, I was getting there, you could get in corner hot chili bottles, hot chili sauce, big long bottle like that, big long thin neck, glass. Lads were walking around with sellotape wrapped around the bottle with the top of it smashed, using it as a dagger to stab into people's necks or whatever. But he has got tendencies to attack other prisoners, as you can just see what I've just told you. And he spent a considerable amount of time on the CSC for doing exactly that. But like I've just mentioned there, them CSCs are monitored, highly monitored, extra than what a normal wing is. So I'm assuming, like I said earlier on, there's got to be CCTV footage of the attack either happening out on the landing or the attack where he's went in the pad after him. Two's went in, one's came out, another one's dead inside the pad with head injuries. Doesn't take a genius to figure out what happened, unless he fell off his bed and accidentally cracked his head. That could be the defence, but I don't think it'll work, do you? Anyways, I think I'll leave that one there for now, because I did have a little bit more on him, but it seems to have went off. Excuse my bad journalism for that. I couldn't think of the word there, but I'm going to leave that one there for now. People, hopefully you're enjoying it. And if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. And as usual, take care, people, but most importantly, stay safe.